This meeting of the Executive and Finance Committee shall be called to order. I said that specifically for Condesa Teehee's benefit. Speaking of Condesa Teehee, would you please bless us with an invocation?
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Shelley, would you conduct roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Keith Austin.
Here.
Joshua Sam. Here. Danny Callison.
Here.
Julia Coates.
Here.
Sean Crittenden.
Here.
Joe Deere.
Morning.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Rex Jordan. Johnny Kidwell.
Here.
Daryl Legg.
Here.
Wes Snowfire.
Morning.
Dora Petskowski.
Here.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Melvina Shotpouch. E.O. Smith.
Here.
Condesa Teehee.
Ani.
Victoria Vasquez. We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That moves us to reports. Mr. Chuck Garrett, heard from you briefly, but the floor is all yours, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. Good to be with you, council. Happy to report that businesses continue to have outstanding financial results. The report we received indicates both business lines are continuing to exceed budget on the top line and bottom line. Very pleased with that. We need to struggle to some degree on the workforce. We're continuing to try and get aggressive recruiting for various positions that that has been a bit of a struggle for us and everybody else in the business world for the last year or so. We are seeing good activity at the casinos. We have noticed a little bit of a downturn, a downtick in traffic this last weekend. I don't know if that's gas prices or late or what exactly yet, but we're monitoring that closely, making sure that we're having the outstanding activity we've had this year thus far. So have had a good some good contracts through our federal contracting group. To work with a very important contract and some others that we're working on. I think that's good announcements in the future. So all is well. Be happy to answer any questions that Councilor finds.
Chuck, you had an occasional cutout on your voice there, but I think we caught everything you were saying, or at least the meat of it all. But yes, your connection is not as good as we're used to.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that.
But I don't think we missed anything important. It just takes a little more effort to hear everything. Are there any questions for Mr. Garrett today? I see none. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate
All right,
you.
Mike, thank you.
Okay, Treasurer Taylor is in the room.
Happy to be back with you all today, Council. You have my report. I'll be happy to entertain any questions from that. But also I wanted to tell you that we are today wrapping up what's called our single audit. That is where the auditing firm comes in and looks at all of our federal awards, the federal grants that we got. Last year, Cherokee Nation got $1.4 billion in federal grants, so there's a lot to look at. But we received an unmodified opinion, and so we're doing great over there on that. So happy to report that. And other than that, Counselor No Fire, did you have a question for me? That's what I've been working on this afternoon. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I get to do that.
Yes, yes, you do.
Just a year out and she's forgot
My bad,
the rules.
I'm guilty of calling you counselor now.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Chair, I'll be happy to entertain any questions that the council
Okay.
may have.
I had a question before
Okay.
I open it to
All
the
right.
floor. All right. Treasurer Taylor.
Good job.
So, on the stimulus, $2,000 stimulus payments.
Yes, sir.
That was held open based on people who were registered by June the 1st, who were, full applications were on file June 1st, correct? Mm-hmm. So at the point where they receive, how do they need to proceed on that in order to then get a check from you guys?
So the people that had their applications in as of June 1st, and there were quite a few of them because we brought in a lot of extra staff to make sure that everybody that wanted to apply could by that time. And so they are going through those applications. And then it is my understanding, and anybody, Tara Lee or somebody that knows different, but they will get their cards. They will be invited to apply through the portal, just like everybody else did.
Okay. After they get their card, they'll actually get some kind of a communication?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
If that's anything
Good.
different than that, I'll
I'm getting
certainly. Okay,
a big
Okay.
head nod from the other room.
all right, very good.
Excellent. People have asked, how will that be triggered?
Sure.
So, good, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, are there questions? I believe Counselor No Fire already was on the.
Seeing none, I'll see you guys.
No, I don't know if it may be broken down into a lot of different categories. If so, you could email it to all the counselors. But unless it goes into one pool, I know that last meeting I asked where the ticket funds are going towards. And I wanted to know if you could elaborate on that. for
Okay,
us.
so there's actually two different funds, so it's not real complicated. We do get a little bit of fees from supervisory fees, is what they call them, and that is if somebody has a probation officer that they have to check in with, and those funds go into the AG's office general fund, and then we have our district court, which are the other things, and those fees and fines go into the district court general fund.
And do we have any direction on where they're going to get spent afterwards, or is it just right now being held there to grow that department?
So right now, they have budgeted what they expect to receive in that, and it's their general fund, so it can go just for whatever they need for day-to-day operations. There aren't a lot of restrictions on that. It stays in the AG's office, or it stays in the district court, but it's general fund dollars.
And when I guess I'm assuming though, once we have like a quarterly or yearly that comes back, we'll have a budget modification in there, or is it just a revolving account? The money comes in, the money gets expended
Okay.
out without knowing how much is in there?
So they do have what they expect their budget to be, and I'm told that once they exceed that budget, then there would be a budget mod for the additional fees, but now it's just kind of an in and out. They haven't gotten to the point where they need to do a budget mod for that.
Okay, well, appreciate you clearing that up for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right. Are there other questions? Yes, Counselor Sam.
Treasurer, thank you for being here, but I had a question on the emergency utility process.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to start getting processed tomorrow, right? Or any of them that's been approved? How are we looking on gearing up to processing all those payments?
That would probably be a Jennifer Kirby question.
She kind of directed me to finance.
In human services, okay. I will find out. Usually, that is an upload to the utility office. That's a program that we do routinely, and I think it's just paid directly to the utility office in their name. But I'll shoot you an email and be sure that I'm correct on that.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Crittenton.
Yeah, Janice, on back to the registration and when if they were applied by June 1st, that's completely applied. And we're going to get calls about the ones that were lacking documents. They had most of it here. And were lacking a signature on a paper. Are we just going to meet that as they come and try to get the fully applied ones first?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's going to be the easiest thing to do, is everybody that's got everything they need, we're going to proceed with that. But it is the chief's intent
Yes.
to pay everybody
I
that is a
understand.
citizen as of that date. And so they'll be looking at each of those one by one to get them taken care
That'll be a
of. But
safe answer, right? The fully applied by June 1st.
all the documentation, everything you
Yeah,
need,
And then we can look at something else later.
one-on-one.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any others? Seeing none.
Okay?
Thank
You
you.
guys know where to find me. Call me anytime.
That brings us to Miss Diane Kelly, Career Services.
Hello and happy June in this beautiful hot weather we're having. We spotlighted 3 of our programs in our report this month, Restore, TANF, and Reentry. And I think I may have told you, but I may not have, because I don't think I was here last month. Ashana Miles, who was our Restore director, has moved over to the self-governance office. So she's located up in administration, working with all of our self-governance in our 477. And we took Jackie England from Salisaw, who actually was one of her coordinators, and he's working under Brenda Fitzgerald. So they've taken over the Restore grant. And then Kim Carroll resigned on our grants, and Josh Drywater, who was over careers, has taken that over. And so we moved John Overacker, who had been here in Taro and knows construction, and we moved him under Hunter Palmer. So they have the career grant that Josh had. So we just moved a few people around, tweaked a few things, and those guys are just wheeling and dealing. In fact, Mr. Overacker and Mr. Jackie have been down working on a project down in Sequoia County, Marble, Greasy, that's in Adair, Bellefonte, and Brushy. So they hit the ground running. So anyway, we're working with Howard Payton and his group, and we're also working with registration still. Derek's still got a few needs, and we're supplying him with the labor pool, trying to help Samantha NHR with labor pool. And by the way, we are not a employment agency, but I tell you what, here lately, I think we have been, but it's been fun. We are working on the new training center that's going to be up at the fairgrounds area. We've got the rendering working on that, and we're trying to get the rodeo arena down. Once we get that down, well, then we'll be announcing through the chief's office when we're going to have a groundbreaking, and that thing will start. And it will mirror the Durban feeling, so that way when you go down the highway, you'll look at both of these, and it'll look very nice. You'll know they're both Cherokee Nation. We are going to be opening an office in Wagner. We'll be announcing that soon. And then we're also moving in up at Veneta. They're putting some offices adjacent to the food distribution office up there for us, and we're going to, Jennifer and I think Jennifer and I are kind of glued at the hip here lately. Everywhere we go, you see her, you see me. And we're working on our move to Catoosa. We're excited about that. Sharon assures me that she thinks she'll be out of there by the end of July, so we're hoping we'll be in there by August. We're still working on construction fairs. There's a lot of construction going on inside the Cherokee Nation businesses, as well as the Housing Authority. And my Taro office and my Economic Development office are working on these construction fairs. We've been meeting with different entities to get these out, And I can't say enough about Stephanie Reamer in the Communications Department. She's been very instrumental in helping us get these flyers out. So you're going to see flyers that kind of look like this, and we will have these going out all over the 14 counties of the Cherokee Nation here in the next few weeks. That'll run through July up through September, and then we hope to do this again in the spring, because there is a need for laborers, there's a need for licensed electricians, plumbers, contractors, people that are bonded. And we're going to try to identify what's actually out there in those counties so that when we need them, we'll know where they're actually located. We also had our one-year anniversary at the call center here a couple of weeks ago. And I can't say enough about Gina and those 20 operators that have been taking all of the calls. When we were experiencing the registration calls that were coming in, those shifted out there, and they're going to be maintaining the calls. They're doing the calls for clothing vouchers. They're doing the calls for everything out there now. And they're out at the Woodmark building, and Paula has recently moved her switchboard operators out there. So we had a one-year anniversary cake for them to let them know how much we appreciated it. And there's 4 of them that actually have been out there the whole year working, and they're participants, done an outstanding job. And I just wanted to share that with you, because a lot of times you don't know that, and you don't know it's participants that's doing it. But we've had some really good participants come through our program this last year. Jeff wanted me to announce that we have around 1,300 youth on our summer youth employment program, which is the largest that we've ever had in history. And they're all over the 14 counties. Adair County is where we need job sites. We got kids wanting to go to work, but we don't have enough job sites that will take them. So help us out.
If she's finished.
I'm through. I'm through.
Hold on again. Are you finished?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, now Sean.
All right, see, I've already forgot what I was going to ask, Keith. No,
Well, I
but,
got a hammer.
okay,
I need
on
to use
the,
it.
I was going to ask you about the, what is it? Job sites, yes, that, let me squeeze this one in here if it's all right. The Stillwell, the building, one-stop shop, how's that coming along?
You're talking about where we had to move out because of the
Yes.
flood. I met with John Asbel last week. We were working on this construction, and I think that we may be back in there maybe by the end of August, we hope. They were putting carpet down, and that's a good sign, so it may be even sooner than that. It could be July.
Well, and it's good. The staff has just moved right into that little building, took care of business. Now, the job sites, give us what type of job sites that would be.
We have youth that are 16 to 24 years of age, and of course, everybody wants 18 and older. But we have a
16.
lot of 16 and 17-year-olds that need jobs. Of course, summer is half over with. Our program is it's gonna end about the 3rd week in July. So we're only looking at 3 more weeks. But now some of them that are older could actually stay on and work if they're going to college or gonna go to a trade school. What we have to do is we have to find a job site that would be actually willing to take them and work with them so that they could learn a skill or a trade.
All right. Well, I can get with you later, but, I mean, we can find some places that's wanting workers. Everybody's probably wanting workers, but if it's, legal for us to send them to those types of,
You can send them to our office. Our office is located at the old tribal complex, which is right behind the post office and the courthouse.
convenience stores.
We have got them there. We have got them just about at any job site that would take them.
Yeah.
There's some job sites that we ask if they'd take them. They don't want them. They don't want them for just 3 weeks.
Okay.
And they want full-time. And most of these kids, when they start back to school, can only work part-time.
Okay, just inquire with the business, and then we can reach out to you if it's a kind of a go.
If you know of one, let us know. We'll go check it out.
All right. Hey, that's a big deal. You just kind of barely mentioned, that's a big deal. We can find them, can't we?
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Counselor Kidwell.
Thank you, Chair. Ma'am, I just want to say, number one, I apologize for the plethora of emails that I continuously seem to send your way. I
You
do
not need to
appreciate.
apologize, that's my job.
Well, it can get very inundating, and I know we talk about putting people to work. We've, just so the rest of the council knows, it seems like we've just getting an increased number of Cherokee Nation at-large folks who are running business, who are looking for people to work for them. I've got one telecommuting position and another one in Oklahoma City, coffee shop just today, looking to hire Cherokee Nation citizens who are at large. My question to you, I'm sensitive, obviously, to the fact that you are not an employment agency, as you mentioned before. If there's if I'm conducting that business in a suboptimal manner, meaning if you have a better idea for me to send those people, I'm willing to do that. I mean, it seems like I'm getting more and more of them. I want to make sure that I'm not adding undue burden onto your plate
You're not.
and mixing up the good job you folks are doing.
Thank you.
But I don't know exactly where to send them, so I'm having to just kind of throw darts at the board here. But any feedback you would have, I would gladly take it.
We could actually network with some of the other tribes in those respective areas in and around Oklahoma City within their jurisdictional area. We actually just go into the contiguous counties of the 14 counties of the Cherokee Nation Reservation. So some of the calls that we get from the at-large are usually around Oklahoma City, or we got one the other day from Yukon. And we don't go out that far. Now, my Job Corps, now we will with Job Corps, and we can place kids all over the whole state.
Okay, so continue doing what I'm doing, or?
Yes, if you call me anytime you want to, Councilman.
Okay.
And I'll see what we can do to help you.
All right,
If
I'm
it's
just
in-
trying to
if it's
get the
out of
right
our
information
area,
to the
we'll
right
try
place. That's,
network with another tribal agency or the workforce offices. We have a good working relationship with the state workforce offices throughout the state.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes because they want to hire Cherokees, so they obviously reach out and ping me first. It would appear most of the time. Where I know we're all trying to handle this the best that we can. I know that you've got a lot going on, and it seems like that we all do at times. But I appreciate your help, obviously, in making those things happen, and we'll continue to kind of parse through this as best we can. I appreciate you working with me, though.
You just call me anytime.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Chair.
Counselor 3E Teehee.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate that clarification on my last name. I am always in support of the correct spelling of people's names. So, Ms. Kelly, I really appreciate the reports that your department submits every month. They're always very informative and have a real personal touch. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I have a question. Here in Oklahoma, we have, medical marijuana. And there are individuals who have become licensed for use with medical marijuana. But to my knowledge, there isn't a federal statute that allows for the consumption of marijuana. So does that sometimes have an impact with maybe where an individual might be able to be placed if they have like a record of either a drug conviction or a history of a positive testing with marijuana?
It does in some cases. A lot of the health facilities that we work with throughout the 14 counties do not accept that. We do get them placed, though.
Okay.
In fact, we've got several in our programs that have the medical marijuana cards that are working right now in different capacities. And there are businesses that actually will hire felons or people that come out of reentry. Back about 2 or 3 years ago, we recognized a business, the Mid-America Industrial Park, that had hired probably 40 or 50 different people who came out of the reentry program. And they said that they would have had to shut down had it not been for the reentry people that we were referring them to. And some of those people had medical marijuana cards.
Okay, all right, so it doesn't necessarily prohibit placement, but they may need to, it may limit placement.
Correct.
Okay, all right, so I think maybe after the conclusion of this meeting, if you have a few minutes, we might chat about something.
Okay. Love to.
In regard to a specific individual.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, and I appreciate the time, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, they're just popping up all over. I think I saw Joe's first.
Hey, just ringing off that, Condessa, there is some Cherokee-owned grows, so they are hiring some around Mid-America Park. And if you're in that world, then that would be another one for them to send them to that know that business. So, I mean, it is legal to be a bud tender, and I know they do start out pretty good, and, yep. So they're all over. I mean, they're big grows, so, but they're legal grows. So when you talked about federal stuff, the Schedule A coming forward, you know, there's testing labs, so you can have different size, not just a trimmer. You can work in the testing lab, you can work in different ones. So they have manufacturing, packaging, different ways they can go in that, so FYI. I was just letting you know in case we could talk later. So, all right. Thanks, Diane. See you in Catoosa.
Counselor Smith.
Thanks, sir.
So I bet the early results early on the 14, 15-year-olds working is a success, isn't it? I mean,
Oh, yes, it is. I forgot to tell you about that. Our career exploration program came up when we were doing the economic development strategic planning, and it has been, well, I can't say how much work went into it, but the staff and the students that are in it really have an idea of what they want to do. These 14 and 15-year-olds have been going on field trips, and they've had a theme every week, and I'm hoping that next week, next month, I'll be able to give you all some pictures and where they went. They went to the Christian Genuine Theater there in Broken Arrow. They went to some of the places that I would have loved to jumped on the bus with them and went. They got a very well-rounded education on careers and what they may want to do. And some of them already have their minds made up on what they're going to do as far as their education. And that was what we hoped that would happen from this career exploration program. And we did it in 3 counties. We're hoping next year to add 2 more counties to it.
I got tickled the other day. I was in Mazio and Salisaw, and I heard these 2 boys sitting over there talking about to get their first cards.
Yeah.
And I went over and I said something as I went by, and they said, "Counselor, we'll buy you dinner. We got our money on our cards." I said, "You better save that money, boy." First money he'd ever made, but it was a good deal.
Yes. Well, Ben Barnett and his staff over in the Adult Learning Center have taken that and ran with it, and those teachers have done an outstanding job. I can't say enough about the work they've put out this year.
Counselor Crittenton, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just waiting until everybody's had their first chance. Counselor Legg.
Thank, oh,
I yield my time to Sean. Diane, there was a video by 105.1, the radio station there in Salisaw, and these kids were making commercials, learning about the green screen. What group of students was that?
It was our career exploration group.
Okay. That's cool.
Is there anybody else before anybody but Sean, please?
I think Cameron out there had a question.
Counselor Crittenton, the floor is yours.
now I need a big question, but this is big to me. Will you remind me, those 16 to 24-year-olds that are, well, 16-year-olds shouldn't be out of school yet, but anyway, the 24-year-olds, how long can they continue on this summer program?
It is, well, until they get 25,
Huh?
until they turn 25.
Well, I mean, like if they're working right now.
Well,
And
it's going to vary from student to student. I can't tell you exactly how long they can
Okay.
be on there.
So when I'm looking for job sites, I can tell them, hey, I got a 24-year-old or a 23-year-old or somebody that's not in school that can work for you X amount of time. And so
Yeah,
Just depends on the
24-year-old
job
turns
site?
25, he's considered an adult according to Department of Labor, so we just move him over to the adult program.
So let's say somebody's working at Sean's Pizza on your program, and they're 23.
Okay.
So, like, right now, on July, how long can I tell them that they can work there at that pizza? Do they have to, after the summer's over, do they have to go do something else, or?
They can work there part-time, they can work there full-time, and we pay them the basic
Until
minimum
they're
wage.
25.
Yeah. Now, if they want more money, then that business is gonna have to negotiate an OJT with us if they wanna pay them more money.
Well, I knew your program was great. I was a part of that summer program at Peavine School, and sure appreciate it. Sometimes I got lazy, and I got better as I went. But that program you have is awesome, and I'm sorry that I didn't understand that. So they have a job if
We
they're,
will work with them as long as we can.
well, I'm gonna go get you job sites, and I'm gonna,
I have no doubt that you won't, and I appreciate it.
thank you. And it's too late, though, for somebody 16
The
to
summer
24 to
program
sign
will
up.
end in about 3 weeks, but if they want to continue and they're in school, like in college or going to a trade school, and they need a job working part-time, we'll work with them.
How about a guy that's not signed up yet? Is it too late for them to jump on this board?
Just tell them to come on in, we'll take their application.
Not because you're my neighbor. You got a good program going over there. Thank you, and I thank you, Chair.
Is it, yes, this is second rounds. Ms.
Anna told
Seahy.
me to sit down. She said, do not stay up there very long.
Thank you for recognizing me again, Chair. So on the summer program, and so 16-year-olds can essentially work up until the end of the program. What is the duration of the program typically during the summer?
The summer youth program is, I think, 8 weeks, and then the career exploration was 6 weeks.
Okay, all right, I mean, everyone can just work the duration of the program or until their school starts?
And then whenever school starts, they can come back in if they're in a hardship situation, or if they have to work because they're in school trying to make ends meet. We'll work with them, and we'll work with them in a part-time job capacity, but we want them to stay in school and get their education.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate that, and I like Counselor Crittenden as well. I'm a product of the Summer Youth Program. My first job was at the Cherokee Heritage Center. I was a tour guide. So I
Great.
appreciate the work that the program's doing and the opportunity it's giving for students to develop really vital work experience that will serve them for the rest of their lives.
Well,
Thank you.
I do want to give a shout out to the chief and our treasurer, because we were able to place more students this year because of ARPA funds.
Oh, wonderful.
And that is why the number is so high. We couldn't have done that with just the regular amount that we get through the grants. So that's why we have so many students on there.
All right, wonderful. Thank you for the time, Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody else? Dang, this was like old days. Remember back when the questions would last for an hour? So it's,
Yeah, as long as Anna doesn't hit me over the head.
well, thank you for coming and answering everybody's questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Miss Anna Knight with the Commerce Department.
Sorry, my legs fell asleep
Good afternoon, and you have a copy of my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Everyone used all their words on Diane.
Yet I apparently just used them all up.
I guess so.
Oh, I see one down there. Yes, Miss Pat Skowski.
Hey, Anna, I just wanted to ask you about the new program that started last month with, for citizens that help with the mortgage payments or homeowners insurance. Have you had very many apply?
That's the Housing Authority.
I am so sorry.
So
You're
you would
right.
ask Jerry
Never
Killer.
mind.
Yes, MAP and everything
MAP is
moved over
different.
there.
That's right.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I see no other hands.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that brings us down to our consent items. We've got a list of the Terra Community Assistance, Law Enforcement Request, Roads, Sports Teams Application, Livestock Premium, and then our Special Projects Report. You've all received those. And I don't see anybody who seems like they don't consent, so we'll call those good. That brings us to our business items. We have no old business. And our new business. Mr. Sean Crittenden has left the room. So, Mr. Mike Shambaugh.
This is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Warehouse to donate surplus items to Adair County 911. Put that in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second? Oh, I heard a second down here. All right. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next one is, Counselor Sam, would you introduce that?
This is an act amending Legislative Act Number 43-21, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2022, Mod 4, and declaring an emergency. I put that in the form of a motion.
Okay. We've got first and a second. Would we, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. And then number 3. Sean Crittenden, would you? We just tried there.
Yes, Chair. An act amending Legislative Act 44-21, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2022, Mod 9, and declaring an emergency. Put that in the form of a motion.
All right. We got seconds and thirds going on now. So- Anybody with any questions? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There we go.
Chair,
Yes.
I'd just like to add something to Councilor No Fire's question earlier about the fees and stuff. Just kind of a basic deal, it's not a money-making deal. Say the district courts spends $100, they're collecting $25 in fees. So all those fees are just going to help pay their actually operating expenses. So it's not really ever going to be a money-making deal. And whatever excess expenditures is just coming out of the general fund.
So from a budget standpoint,
They have the revenue budgeted and the expenditures budgeted, and unless it just gets way out of whack, they'll probably never come in for a budget mod, because we've budgeted to expend general fund dollars for those budgets anyway, so.
yeah, they are tasked with bringing a budget outline to us.
Right.
Which we passed last year, that outlines what they expect
Right.
the revenue to be and what they expect the expenses to be. That was passed, that was reviewed and passed. And then only if something outside that was to happen would they need to come back to us.
Right, correct.
All right, that helps, I think, understand how that process works. Is there anybody else that has a question for Jody on this? EO?
I let slip by. On the sports team, have you seen them increase? Has very many of them hit up for that 30%?
I think, I haven't looked at the list specifically lately, but we've only had, best I recall, 2 or 3 of them, if I recall correctly. So it'll probably become a bigger deal next season when
they know about it.
word gets out better. And because by the time we enacted it this year, probably 75 or 90% of the teams had already applied. So I think it'll be a bigger deal next year.
All right. Any announcements? Yes.
Are you going to tell them about Shane's brother, Mike? Those of you that know Shane Kirby, his brother passed away yesterday. There was only two of them in the family, and he lost his brother yesterday, so remember him in your prayer.
Yes, Joe?
Remember the McIntosh family, my cousin Daniel McIntosh passed away.
Sean?
Yes, Sequoia Board member Jeff Limore, he was just here not too long ago. Continue prayers for his family, and thank you.
Condessa?
I would like to offer condolences and prayers to the family of Tonette Mouse Hummingbird, a former Miss Cherokee who is no longer with us.
Mike?
I'm going to kind of echo off Sean's sentiments. Just prayers out to the Limore family. Mr. Limore's passing creates a vacancy of a tribal council appointment to the Sequoia High School Board, so be thinking of nominees for replacement on the August rules agenda, and please submit your resumes to Shelley by the 9th.
Johnny?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd also like to make sure that we keep in our prayers at-large citizen Tom Martin and his family. His brother passed away this past week, and, all condolences to him and his family. Would just make sure that the good Lord lifts them up and holds them tight. Thanks, sir.
All right. I also have one I want to ask everybody to keep in their thoughts and prayers today. George Green was laid to rest, literally, I think, about as we speak. And he was a veteran of the Korean War. He was recognized with the Cherokee Medal of Patriotism several years ago. He was a participant in the honor flight several years ago. He was a dedicated man to his community, to his country, and to the Cherokee Nation. And we need more men like George Green. I will miss George. So, EO.
Yes, I'm so glad I didn't forget her. Dorothy Rogers, 97-year-old Cherokee lady, very active in the community for years there at Vine, was just a great lady. She's 97.
Her birthday?
I don't know.
Anybody else, I'm kind of glad we made room for this today. Yes.
If you're not doing anything Saturday, that's the National Huckleberry Festival in Jay, Oklahoma, so you're all invited to come, and around 11 o'clock, there'll be free ice cream and huckleberries and a big pie auction, and the parade's at 10, and Cherokee Nation is participating in it, so.
Excellent.
Just one more, just wanted to share that Mr. Dwight Birdwell will be receiving the Medal of Honor, one of our country's highest honors, I believe for his service during the Vietnam War. And so I just wanted to share that in recognition for Mr. Birdwell.
Perfect. Yes, Joe.
Community meeting, July 7th, North Tulsa, 6 to 8 p.m. You guys are more than welcome to show up. July 12th, Owasso, July 13th in Catoosa. Same time, same places. Thank you.
Darrell.
District 6 community meeting at Brushy, Cherokee Community Action Center, July 5th. It's on Tuesday night.
Yes, Danny.
We have a community meeting at the Pryor Fairgrounds on July the 7th, 6 to 8 o'clock. Then we also have one at the Locust Grove Upper Elementary on July the 14th for the Locust Grove community.
Perfect. Well, I am glad we had this moment to share the important things in our community today. Thank you all for all your work today. Motion to adjourn will be accepted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?